Hey guys, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And welcome to our, is this our October, what we're reading? We're a little bit behind just because of life at the moment. So this is October's what we're reading, I promise you. Yeah, we read a very interesting book this month and Elizabeth will tell you a bit more.
Yes, so it was called Shatter Like Glass by Alkena Mystic, and it's a pirate Cinderella retelling. And here's the summary. Pirate Ashen of Azure hates royalty. A prince killed her mother. Her manipulative stepfather is king of Azure. Nearly every royal she has met she despises. So when she learns of a group seeking to overthrow the corrupt monarchies, she doesn't object. In fact, she doesn't concern herself with them at all. She has more important things to worry about, like not being caught by her stepfamily or killed by the captain of the Viridian Guard. When the Kingslayer's revolution takes a violent turn, with Ashen's brother and a member of her crew at the wheel, Ashen questions her choice. Are the lives of a few innocents worth sacrificing for freedom? Will she fight those she cares about to stand by her values? A high fantasy retelling of Cinderella, with a pirate twist. Shatter Like Glass is a story of family loyalty and good old-fashioned sword fights.
There was lots of sword fights, I'll tell you that right now.
And there was a surprising amount of stabbing. I don't know, I just didn't expect all this stabbing.
I know. It was one of those, I was like, it came to about the halfway point and I was like, anyone could die. This is Game of Thrones all over again. I don't know who I'm meant to vouch for now or who I can put my you will survive.
I know, and it took me, since it's a Cinderella story, there has to be some romance in it, but it took me forever to figure it out for sure.
Oh no, yeah, definitely. I thought first her and Schmeagol.
Me too!
And I was like, this is quite cute. They have a friendship. I like this kind of romance based off friendship. And then that happened. And then it was Pedro, or whatever his name is. And I was just like, that's fine. There's something I can vouch for because you have actually quite good, grumpy, cute banter. But I was at the same time, it took me ages to be like, who's she going to end up with?
So what did you think of the plot?
Well, the Cinderella aspect was kind of very come and go. It was the first chapter and that was about it. And I think the only other aspect I really saw Cinderella-y was the step family kind of thing, but even then it wasn't ugly stepsisters who hate her. It was just maybe her stepfather who hates her kind of thing. And I was like, okay, so, but it was one of those, once I got over the fact, I was like, okay, the Cinderella thing's come and gone. I really liked the story. I was really interested in how the pirate thing would lay out, and there was so much backstabbing and political stuff as well that really, really engaged me straight away because I was like, I need to know who is what and who's done what and why, and it was just one of those, I was like, well, I'm now involved and I need to know what happens. So yeah, what about you?
I definitely agree, and that the Cinderella part was kind of confined to the first chapter, but it was really interesting because after that you had no idea what would happen next, and it was a lot more actiony and violent than Cinderella stories traditionally are. Okay, I just remember one of their first sword fights with Pedro, and they're fighting and bantering, and I'm like, oh, this is cute, and it's oh, she stabs him in the shoulder. It's whoa,
And then she's complaining oh, I didn't get your heart or something like that. So you're like, oh gosh, okay then.
Yep, she's fighting to kill.
We now have a dog. Okay, so what did you think about the writing and everything?
The writing style?
Yeah.
Are we going out of order today?
Yeah, I'm being adventurous. All right. Because I really liked the writing. I was going to have a wee fangirl over it.
All right. The writing style was, I think it was pretty good. I don't remember a lot about, descriptions and stuff, but it seemed pretty professional and polished overall to me. What did you think about it?
I definitely think because there was so much happening. I think description-wise, you could tell the different cities or places they went were described a little bit better and how people reacted. But definitely there wasn't much description-wise because there was just so much action happening. I really think the action scenes, which are always people are either really good at describing locations and feelings and stuff, or they're really, really good at describing action. And this was definitely a very action-heavy, good you could tell the action, you could believe it, and you were like, oh, okay. It was really good like that. So I was like, that was really... I really enjoyed that, because it's been a while since I've read a good action book on Wattpad. I'm like, yes, the action's written really good, woo! But I really like the fact that the lead, yes, she was a strong female lead and everything like that, but at the same time, you could feel her vulnerability and her confusion all the way through it as well, so that was really nice to see.
What did you think about the characters?
There was a lot of characters, and that kind of, at the very beginning, there was like a cast, almost like a cast of characters, and when I saw how many, I was like, this is going to get complicated, but as I was reading it, they all interconnected in a very realistic way, and they weren't there for very long. Schmeagol broke my heart. He completely turned on everyone, and I was just like, I cannot trust anyone anymore. And the minute that happened, I was like, if Pedro, or whatever his name is, doesn't become good and join our side, I'm not going to be happy, because the only other boy in this situation are her brothers or her dad, and I need some romance right now.
Maybe I'm rubbing off on you.
Probably, you actually are, but I was like, I need some hope. Because you just ruined, because I was so behind them two becoming a couple, I think, from the beginning. Their friendship was so good, and both of them cared so much about each other, and you could tell. So when he betrayed her, I would literally have to put the book down and not touch it for a day, because I was like, no, this is a raw wound. How dare you, kind of thing.
I know, I was pretty confused with their relationship too, because at one point it goes to the dad's POV, and it's like, oh, she'll be okay with Schmeagol, because Schmeagol obviously loves her a lot, and it's like, oh. Yeah.
There was hints to it, I think, like if you do think about him talking to George in the cells, and obviously him trying to like burn down Pedro or whatever his name is after the second time he tries to kill Ash. Those were like the first few hints of him being like that, but at the same time I think I was a bit like Ash, and I was just too hopeful, being like, no, you wouldn't do that to us, and you did. Oh, there was so much politics in this as well, so it was like, oh gosh.
Speaking of politics, what did you think of all the royalty?
I liked them, but I also felt like I've read books where there's more diverse royalty. I understand the fact there's going to be a lot of backstabbing, but not like everyone in the 1% will be backstabbers, if that makes sense. And it kind of came off that way. Like every time you thought there'd be someone who wasn't, someone had some sort of blackmail to prove that actually they were, kind of things. It was one of those... Yes, it was interesting to see all the different ways they were trying to kill each other and everything like that, but at the same time I was like, I want one person of royalty to not be a murderous backstabber, because the Kingslayer, the more you show that they are like this, the more the Kingslayers actually, their thing makes sense. So I had so much hope for her big brother when he married, but no.
Honestly, I didn't see why she was like so angry and okay with killing them. Like even Athenia, she was kind of like indifferent about, but like Athenia came up to like try and save her life and stuff, or like when they jailed that one captain guy, even though it was her betrothed, because he tried to attack her. So in general, even though her family is like murderous in some ways, like I didn't get why she was so like angry at them, because it's like, yeah, they're messed up, but she's done her fair kill. I mean,
I could understand her being angry at her stepfather because he was part of the reason her mum died. But the rest of the family, the only other thing, they haven't really done anything. And if anything, they were taking her side and excited to be her family. So it was kind of, I get that.
So what did you think of Ashen overall as a character?
I quite liked her. I think she was very stubborn, but she was very strong and very strong-willed as well. But as I said, I quite liked the fact that you did see her confusion, and she did make a few mistakes. Like she wasn't perfect. She wanted nothing to do with royalty, but she understood at the moment she had to suck up and deal with it. I think it was one of those. It was nice to see. There could have been more moments of that with her, like more like weaker moments. But it was very much when you see a strong character, like female character, that she definitely embodied the normal Katnissy, you know what I mean, that kind of thing. And I always like those kind of characters, so I guess I was happy. And she wasn't scared to fight dirty, which I always think is quite good to see, because sometimes that's frowned upon for female characters and females to read about. So she was fighting as good as she got kind of thing. So that was good to see. What about you?
I thought she was a really strong character overall, and that she was really action-oriented, which is part of what helped make this a really action-y book. And one thing I liked was that, pretty early in the story, we get the idea that she's not super pretty or anything. Her primary... But she's not concerned about that. Her primary thing is, being a good captain of this ship. So I kind of respect that.
Yeah, I like that. And she didn't care about her looks because she had other things. She was more... She'd rather be intelligent, and instead, she said something along those lines. I quite like that as well. And she wasn't like, I'm not pretty, I'm average, but wasn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't that stereotypical, I'm just so average. It was, I don't give two cares, I want to be the best captain I can be kind of thing.
Yeah.
So guys, that was our thoughts on the book. Definitely you should go give it a read. There is now 2 edits of it up, so you can choose if you want to read the first one, which me and Elizabeth have read, or the second one, which I am going to reread, or I am going to read, but I might give myself a few weeks of getting over the betrayal of Schmeagol, so we have decided on next month's book of the month, which will be the Fight Club Academy by High Foxes. So I'll make sure to put that in the description bar, and it seems very exciting. And there is a romance, because I'm working with Elizabeth here. She needs a romance in her life. So you should now go and check out Elizabeth's channel. We have a bonus video up going over there where we're going to play Battleships. A very piratey game, of course. So thank you for watching. Please talk to us in the description. We love hearing all your thoughts. And we will see you next month. Bye!
Bye!